Oh my gosh! I flipping flip you, you idiot! Oh my gosh, why would you not allow me to use that?
Sorry I kept you waiting forever and a day, but now we're out here together with nothing standing in our way. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Like electricity. Taking over your body, it's flowing through your mind. This feeling's got me on fire. Don't ever leave it all behind. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love.
I just started it. Oh, this is cool how I have the power to just start and stop stuff. Isn't that amazing? I'm like,
with your
God.
mind, you can with your mind like that guy.
You watched that America's Got Talent thing?
America's Got Talent. He was amazing.
Heidi was like me at first. I was like, what the heck is wrong with this person? Why don't they just buzz him out right now to save us the pain? But then I was like, you know what?
It's hilarious.
He's a comedy act.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And
at the very end when he said...
He's like, it was not a comedy act.
This is not comedy.
Was,
I am controlling these things with my mind.
It was like he opened a trash can, like one of those where you have a foot, and he was like...
Where you have a foot pedal, and he lifted it up. And then it was even more amazing when he allowed it to drop. He thought it was fantastic. That guy was hilarious. Anyways, Shout Games. What kind of games do you like to play? We used to be huge Minecrafters, which is where Minecrafter actually originated. Haven't really played a whole lot of Minecraft lately. I don't know. Is that still a popular game, guys?
Among the kids, but that's about it.
For little kids.
For little kids, not
and
like
math,
big kids, but
little kids and math teachers. What about Dan TDM?
Oh, he's still big, but he doesn't do a lot of Minecraft anymore.
So he's not the Diamond Minecart or whatever.
He's always going to be the Diamond Minecart, but he doesn't. He still does Minecraft. Yeah. But it isn't like his main forte.
You know, I kind of miss Minecraft. I kind of miss doing the build portion of Minecraft. I didn't like the whole getting blown up and
by creepers.
Yeah, and starting all over again sort of thing.
I did.
And dying
That's
with
a
all of
video
your
game.
stuff on you. And I didn't like doing that part, but I really liked the building. And I loved going to the websites of those, golly, who were those people that made the most fantastic castles and villages?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my goodness.
It's just really fallen off the charts, honestly.
It has, hasn't it? That's too bad. Hey, Shout Games, you ever play Minecraft?
I don't know. He plays games where you have to shout.
No, so he does not. You're making assumptions about his name now. Okay?
Oh, come on.
I'm
just saying.
You're just saying, hey, if he has shout in the title, then it must be games where he has to shout a lot.
Well, let's look at his channel.
We do that too.
He has about 5,000 followers and no videos.
Oh, wow. So is that Far Cry?
Far Cry.
Jeez Louise.
That might be
those
Doom.
graphics are beautiful.
This might be Doom, I don't know.
Oh, it's Gears 5.
It's Gears of War, but it looks like they changed it to Gears. Just Gears.
Hey, because that's how we know it.
Come on,
right?
guys. Gears!
Not G-O-W, not GOW. No, it has to be just Gears, not Gears of War, not G-W. No, just Gears. Gotcha.
Odd.
I understand.
Really odd.
Oh, very cool.
Really, really weird. I need a stream deck where I can just, plus. What? I just woke up, guys. I can just press a button and it'll change my scene and it'll be great. That's what I need because I'm here on this mouse and I'm like click 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 and I'm actually clicking on real things because I have a computer in front of me. Isn't that cool? We have a real working computer.
Camera. See, you're right there.
The camera can see this monitor right here, right on the back.
Yep.
But other than that, it can't see much, and that's all blocked off by my overlay, so it's pretty great.
Okay, so what other things have kind of fallen off the edge? Instagram or Snapchatters? Instagrammers?
Snapchat's going down, Instagram's going up.
Snapchat's
going down because apparently they released this update and everyone hated it, and Snapchat didn't do anything about it, and yeah.
Oh, so they said, okay, fine, if you're not going to change things,
then I'll go off of Snapchat.
I'll go somewhere else. So what are the benefits of, because I had a colleague who always wanted me to snap. She was like, oh my gosh, you gotta get Snapchat. Oh my gosh, you gotta get Snapchat.
I guess it's the filters, but then again, Instagram has filters, and Facebook has filters, and my webcam from 2009 has filters, so guess what? I don't care.
Filters are not spectacular.
They aren't. I had this thing that turned me into God, and it was great, and I had this other thing that turned me into some crazy creature that had 10 million heads, and it was great.
And it was great. But
Apple has had filters for a long time, and Facebook or whatever it was called, they removed that app in iOS 7.
Oh, Photo Booth.
Photo Booth.
Yeah, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And when did they remove that?
And like iOS 7, because I remember playing with it in iOS 6, and then I don't anymore. And I know for a fact that iPads don't have that. I'm not sure about Macs, because I know Macs pioneered that thing.
But
not
you know,
necessarily pioneer, because LifeCam had it. Microsoft LifeCam.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like writing a story. You really can't write an original story. You know what I'm saying? You can have
a different kind of story.
Yeah, interesting characters doing the same thing that every story ever told has ever done. So it's kind of the same, I think, with computers. It's really hard to.
But in stories, you have stock characters and things that you expect. And you have to see that stuff or it'll be like, what the heck is wrong with this story?
Right. And you have to have difficulties.
Yep.
No.
There's one person that asked you a long time ago, does a story have to have a conflict? And
No,
like,
she didn't ask me, does it have to have a conflict?
she
like, said, it doesn't.
What?
She said, no, you can still tell an interesting story without a conflict. And
Conflict
I said,
isn't something bad
It's
that happens, it's
essential.
just something that has to
That
go
has to
on.
be fixed. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to be bad. It just has to be fixed. No, I do not wake up every day and have a problem that needs to be fixed.
You gotta brush your teeth, you gotta go to school, you gotta do
I don't
stuff
have a
at
billion
school.
obstacles in my way. Well, then you don't see them as obstacles, but they are things that you need to do to conquer, to move forward, to... Yeah, that was a tough one. She was a tough little cookie because she wasn't... That was it. She was done... And it wasn't that she was debating to debate. She just didn't really understand the concept of conflict in a story. Man versus man, man versus self, man versus nature. She just didn't...
She didn't understand that.
So you got a summer reading that's kind of interesting, don't you?
Of Cold Blood by...
In Cold Blood.
In Cold Blood. You can tell how much I've already read it.
Yeah. Not even the title. I get ya. Well, you've read part of the title.
Of Cold Blood by something Truman.
Truman Capote.
Truman Capote.
Truman Capote.
Because usually Truman is a last name and not the first name.
And In Cold Blood is... Well, it's controversial. It's ugly. It's an ugly story about
ugly things.
Murder. And murder in cold blood, which means there was no prior motivation for it. It just, I'm going to kill you, and you now are dead. It's kind of like I don't know. That's kind of ugly. That's kind of the ugly part of human nature, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the story itself is controversial because Truman Capote said it belongs in nonfiction because all of the stories that I'm going to tell you about
are real.
Yeah, about people that get killed. Those are real stories this is a real story that really happened in the Midwest in blah blah blah. I've just kind of cheated a little bit. I added some things and made it more readable and more interesting, and I've made my characters a little, and it's like, I'm assuming their motives and things like that. So he said
it's more of fiction.
It's really non-fiction, and then you've got to stop and say, just like everybody, well, not everybody else, but some people said, no, that belongs in the fiction because it's not you because you've manipulated it so much. It's no longer.
It's like Lord of the Flies. I bet something like that could have happened. I bet people could have gotten stranded on an island, but did that exact stuff happen to that caliber? Probably not.
Right, probably not. Anyway. Interesting. We'll have to read the story and then maybe we can have a discussion about it here.
So let's go into your
rant.
Hey,
you remember what
your
you
rant.
used to, my rant? Do you remember what you used to do?
What?
We used to have like Sunday homework studies where
I didn't like that because it
took a long time to do your homework.
And when I was on stream it took even longer. So it just was like, it's That's why I stopped homework streams and turned it into working streams where I edited videos and stuff like that.
Right.
And I like those more.
So,
Speaking of streams, what do you like to do? Because if you look at our schedule here, you have a rant.
I've got a rant.
So you have a rant, right? But I
Yeah.
guess moving into something else, talking about the streams that I do,
Okay.
we were thinking that one thing to make it big on Twitch is to flood your audience with content. So I was thinking that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we would do different portions of RANDtek, kind of. So Monday would be the rant portion. So Drama for Mama would take over that, and she would talk about anything in the news,
I'm
not
just
necessarily
a big-
politics.
Yeah, I'm just
But-
not a big, ranter, I guess. I'm
Like
kinda
you
laid
could rant
back and-
about the Intel CEO having sexual relations with someone and having to be fired, but not really being fired, but just told to.
I know.
go
I
away.
have an opinion
Told to
about
retire.
those FBI agents that were found out to be quote unquote non-biased. I mean, just reading some of the texts that they sent back and forth to each other. Firstly, even being able to do that in
But one thing
in
but
business,
one thing
that
in RANDtek,
and
we're gonna
then
avoid politics.
not biased.
Politics.
Oh my word! Well, that's not really political. That's somebody saying, in my opinion, it wasn't biased, and then. But in my opinion, it was major bias. I think they were showing major bias, and I don't think that you can do that. You can, obviously they did, but I don't think that they should have. I don't know. What can I rant about today, guys?
You had to rant
Can I rant about
something.
the weather? Can I rant about
Well, I know weather's
it's
a
summer?
topic.
I just don't have a whole lot of rant to rant on, unless it's political, and I don't want to go there. I'm not like Diamond and Silk and Diamond.
You're not like-
what are their names? I'm not like, and I'm not funny like.
You're not like Jerry, who just. We're not open books here, we say what we want to share, and we don't share like, we live in blah 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 blah, and
Right.
I believe that Donald Trump blah 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 blah, and Obama.
And that Hillary should have blah blah blah. I do think that she committed crimes that we need to, as a public, address more than. Well, maybe she didn't intend
Emails.
to hurt us, because there's lots of times when, like, I'm sure that the guy that gets pulled over for speeding didn't intend to be late that day, but because he or she was, they had to go a little fast, and I can always say I didn't intend to hit the child on the bike and kill them, it wasn't my intent to do that, but I still did, and I still have to be punished for those particular behaviors. And, the more that comes out about that whole thing, the more that we're discovering, I think, that there was really a crime that was committed there. So, am I being too political?
I don't know.
Oh,
You're
okay.
talking about Miss Clinton as a person and not as a politician right now. You're not
Yeah,
saying if
I
she was
think
fit
that
for president or not,
Right,
and we're
but-
not gonna say that.
Whether she was or not.
We're
I
just
think
saying
beside the point.
as a
I think
person.
in my opinion, I think she committed something. I think that she did something that is punishable, and I don't think that we should treat her differently because she is who she is. I think that if she did do something that we've discovered was wrong, that we shouldn't excuse that behavior by just saying, "Oh well."
Because she's a celebrity.
She didn't mean to. And that's another thing that, in the news lately, I'm hearing all of these celebrities say things about, particularly Donald Trump. And whether I love Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump, whether I agree with Donald Trump or whether I disagree with Donald Trump, I don't think it's right to make threats toward his family or toward him
You can't-
and get away with it. I don't think that that's something
it's
we should be
illegal to send death threats or anything like that to a president. That's
Right,
just
and I don't
you
think
don't do
that-
that.
And I don't think that
So whether you love the
you're-
man or you hate the man, just don't do that, guys.
Well, not just don't do that. There has to be some sort of justice that happens to people like Madonna who say, "I'm going to blow up the White House," or "I have dreams of blowing up the White House." there's something there. You know, the woman that held up the bloody head of Donald Trump, you know, there are some really wacko people out there who will say, oh, you know, I love this person, let me go cut Donald Trump's head off and then send it to her in a box and she'll love me forever. You know, there's wackos that will do things like that. And I guess the latest is Peter Fonda and Tom Arnold now in the news saying something about Barron Trump and how they want to go kidnap Barron Trump.
Why would you say that?
Put him in a cage with a bunch of pedophiles so that he can suffer.
What did Barron ever do? Because now it's getting onto a personal level. You might not like Trump, okay? But what did his son do?
Well, and
seriously, what did Barron do?
I don't think that it's them saying I want to go do this to Barron because Barron is a bad person.
They want to attack Barron to attack Trump, but that's just really messed up.
And his wife.
You don't attack little kids like that. You don't say that stuff. You don't think that stuff.
And I think what they're trying to do is say it would be horrible for you to have your own child subjected to these horrible things. But you can't say, let's go kidnap him. I think that's the whole essence behind...
Because you're threatening him.
Yeah,
and that's
a threat. And that's, even though it's a verbal threat and you may not, quote unquote, have any intent of ever falling through, or, you know, playing it to fruition. Like Madonna said, no, I didn't say go blow up the White House. But that's what she implied. And even though it may not have been her intent to do that, it may not be... Mr. Arnold's intent to go kidnap this child. He said, let's go abduct him and put him in a cage with a pedophile.
That's just outrageous.
If
someone...
he's not being arrested, and that's, I think, my big rant, is that he's not being arrested. There has to be a penalty for saying things like that. I can't say... I'm going to bring a gun to school and shoot up the place without a consequence.
If someone went onto this stream and they threatened me or Drama for Mama or my dog or my dad or someone like that, if they said,
to blow up our house,
I'm going to go to your house and I'm going to shoot your dad in the face and then I'm going to blow it up. If they said that, guess what? I would have to report that to the FBI. I would have to create a case file, I would have to say this person.
Say we've been threatened. Yeah.
At least I know full-time streamers who say I've had to report multiple people who threaten my son's life, threaten my own life. If it's just like KYS, well, that's just more of against Twitch's terms of service, and I'd report your account to Twitch and you'd get banned from Twitch, hopefully. But if you're like, I am going to go to your address, which is this right here. I know your address. I'm going to drive over there with my blah, blah, blah gun, and I'm going to bring it to your...
Yeah. Or I'm going to kidnap you and I'm going to put you in a cage. You know, those are things that...
I'm going to drive to the White House.
Yeah, that we as Americans need to recognize are offensive. And I think that when we turn the other cheek and say, oh, well, they didn't mean it.
You can't just say, well, I personally don't like Trump either, so I'm not going to agree or disagree with that. That's
as a teacher, if I have a child who
hard
says...
to say.
If I have a child who says, I'm going to do this horrible thing, you know, if I'm going to X to the principal, if I'm going to go into the principal's office and I'm going to plant explosives so that the next time she opens her desk drawer, she's going to get a massive explosion. If I hear kids saying things that are threatening, whether I think they're just saying them to be humorous or not, that's reportable. That's something that if I didn't report it, I would be held accountable for that particular crime if that crime ever happened. And as Americans, we're excusing our celebrities because they're celebrities, because we're saying, well, everybody has a right to their own opinion. That's not an opinion.
That's a threat.
That's a threat. So,
and threats can never be excused. Never.
Right.
When they're on that level. So let's move into... that. That would be the Monday show.
That's the Monday show. That's my rant. Okay.
That's the RANDtek. We probably won't start this schedule until the week after next week so that I can design the art, find out names, write up all the things, design all this stuff.
You know, if I don't have something to rant about, can I give them like tips on, I don't know, essential oils or like
Yeah.
right now
It can
I'm
be your
trying.
show.
Right now I'm trying something new with a wild lettuce for pain relief for my lower back and my so I wonder if I can do something like that, like how to use this oil to treat blah blah blah, or maybe I can give them some tips on colloidal silver and how I'm treating my dog's eye infection with
Oh yeah, colloidal silver really works.
yeah,
Some
or
cool
how to use
stuff. It's
iodine on
antibiotic,
acne or things like that.
microbial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, topic number 1, Windows XP machine. So in front of me, I mentioned I had a computer. Okay, this would be the Wednesday show. Wednesday would be RANDtek.
Okay.
So like random technology.
Random.
That would be what this show was initially for, and then it kind of just branched out into different things. So RANDtek would also talk about things that are in the news, like Ryzen 2, whatever you want to talk about. And again, we're always going to be reading your chat like we always do.
Yeah, if you chat.
And
Come on.
people do chat. You know, you're just insulting them. Now they're like,
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just encouraging them to talk
you're like,
to me.
if they check,
Well, God bling it. You know, as a teacher, I used to say, geez, my dad told me to be a dentist, but if I'd have known that I'd be pulling teeth to get you to say anything, I don't know. How can I motivate you more? Do I need to poke sticks, or what do I need to do? How can I motivate y'all to say something to me?
We need to do giveaways. Just kidding.
I can do a giveaway. I'll give away the tip o' the day. The tip o' the day.
Tip o' the day.
To the first 5 people to say, hey, drama for mama.
So,
I will give you... I don't know.
So let's move into our
something
topic.
special.
Let's move into our topics. I'm so like...
I'm done being rant.
Okay, RANDtek is over. RANDtek is over. Let's not rant about.
Rant about my viewers.
Let's not rant about the viewers anymore.
I will.
So this computer, this computer has a dual-core processor, running at I can't remember the gigahertz, but it's running at 2-point-something gigahertz. It's an Intel Pentium processor in the LGA 775 socket. You have 4 gigs of DDR2 RAM. And built-in Intel graphics, and that is basically the computer that I'm running. I have XP Media Center Edition 32-bit installed because I only have 32-bit software. And on this machine, I've been pleasantly surprised, actually, because...
If you were to kind of put that into years, about what era is this machine?
Well, the machine is about 2008, 2009, so it's about 10 years old, but the operating system is a 2005 version of XP, but keep in mind XP was released in 2001. That's before I was born. That is 17 years old, so I'm running a 17-year-old operating system.
Holy
Just think about that. That's ancient. That's like
very
that's
ancient.
retro.
As deliberate as what they are with trying to
push this new operating system on us.
And to make everything so obsolete. You know?
But the things that have surprised me is the similarities between, because I have kind of an interesting combination. I have Word 2003 Office 03 installed on it. That's old software. I have Adobe Premiere Pro 1.5, so that's 2005. I have Photoshop Elements 3.0, which is 2005 also. But I also have new software, like latest version of Skype, which is really surprising. This is like a brand new version of Skype that I'm running on my Windows XP computer. Let me go to Tools, About Skype. So this was released in 2000. I can't. Don't even
that's too bad.
consider.
Oh well.
But I'm running Skype 7.36.0.150. So that's 2017, and it's running on XP.
Wow.
Which it really surprises me.
Well, you know, I think XP was one of the best operational systems that they put out.
And in the beginning, it was like, no one should upgrade to XP. I haven't read them, but I've heard about magazine articles where it's like, Windows XP is the worst mistake Microsoft has ever made, in their blah 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 years of being a company. They're gonna shoot themselves in the foot and they're gonna regret this. And 17 years old later, you have idiots like me still running XP.
Right.
And it's amazing.
I think that XP springboarded so many innovative things too.
I think it's just that it was secure, it was solid, it had good support, it was recognized, it was pretty, it was new. You know, when you jump from ME to XP, because consumers never had an NT kernel before, when you did away with that 9X, it was just so much more stable and so much faster, booted faster.
But you also talk about, we just mentioned the words, you know, that they plan this obsolescence, and that's what people were upset for XP about, was because it required such a different computer than what most Americans or most people had.
Mm-hmm.
You needed to have one that had more RAM. You needed to have one that had more available.
The thing with Microsoft software, I guess, is that when they release it, because you have all of these different computers running it, my computer is different from your computer, I'm pretty darn sure, because although you might have 16 gigs of RAM and an FX 8300, you're probably going to have a different motherboard, a different make of RAM, a different processor that might have a different attribute.
Right.
You're going to have different versions of software, different BIOSes, different programs installed. It's so different.
Right, and even if you didn't buy your computer, or even if you did buy your computer off the shelf and you said, but I have a Dell Rosario, I don't know what the latest Dell is, but even if you have that, it's likely not going to be
the same as something else.
An identical.
And what Microsoft has to do, they have to support that. So when they release, let's say, when they say, here's my shiny new version of Windows Vista, I'm going to support all of these computers. Their test labs and their beta testers, they were able to support that very well. They were able to say, no, this operating system works. But once they release it to the general public, so many new bugs appear that people say, well, this OS sucks. It doesn't work on my computer. It doesn't work with my specific printer from 1995 that did work on XP. Now Vista sucks because it doesn't work for me.
Right, and I have to go out and buy all new stuff because they pushed some new product at me.
Eventually, the telemetry that Microsoft will get from your specific computer and Blow's specific computer and that guy's computer, the telemetry, they'll be able to fix all of these problems. And like Vista Service Pack 2, wonderful. XP Service Pack 1 fixed all the issues.
Yes, that's true.
But the thing is, Vista got such a negative press.
Oh my
especially
goodness.
From Apple.
Yeah.
I was watching these Mac versus PC ads. 99% of them were, Vista sucks, Vista's horrible, Vista's the worst thing ever, Vista blues, Vista's a nightmare, Vista. You should upgrade to a Mac because you're going to get the headache away from Vista. All these viruses, all of this incompatibility.
All of this incompatibility, is that something that because Apple is so proprietary, they don't let any other company create anything for them? Or they used to. I know now you've got your Apple versions of Word and Excel and PowerPoint, and then you've got Apple's idea of that. You've got, what do they call it, slides, or I don't know.
Let me explain Apple for you. So Apple has a set amount of iPhones. They gotta support the iPhone 5 through the iPhone X. That's all they have to support. They don't have to worry about the ZTE Android phone and the Samsung phone and the Google phone and the Axelian phone and the super old Android phone. They don't have to worry about all that. They only have to support those. They have a certain amount of Macs that they provide their new software for. They say when they want to cut off support. Microsoft, if I say, well, I have Windows 10 and I got myself a Pentium 4, and guess what? I wouldn't install it on my Pentium 4.
And how come it's not supporting my Pentium 4?
Microsoft can't say, nope, I'm not going to support a Pentium 4. They can say, your RAM isn't enough, or you don't have enough processor cores, or there isn't this certain technology on your motherboard that we can't physically support Windows 10 on that. But Apple can just say, oh yes, the 2009 MacBook, we're cutting support for that, it's too old. So we're not even going to write software for that. We only have to write software for 10 computers.
So
and we need to make sure that it works on those 10 computers very well.
So diehard Mac fans just simply accept the fact that when their computer is a 2009 that it's just not going to be supported?
They just say it's too old, they got to upgrade.
But does Apple say you have to, because I know on my iPad it always says, here's the latest version, you need to upgrade now. And it's always prompting me to.
Yeah.
Always prompting me to do that.
It's but because then, your iPad
then my
is
iPad,
newish.
Oh, it's newish.
Like your old junior high iPad, you haven't had that in a long time because they dropped support for it.
Okay. Should I complain about that? Should I go to my tech guy at STPA and say, well, you might as well just take this back because they don't even support it anymore?
Then again, it's like, then
it's hilarious that you even give this to me because it weighs 700 pounds.
But you know what? The reason why Macs work is because not only do you only have to support a certain number of computers, once you do, it's like now the software has to only support these certain amount of operating systems. So when you're a developer, you only have a small amount to work with. You don't have to consider the Pentium 4s and the Core 2 Duos and the Ryzen 7s and the Threadrippers. You don't have to consider that. All you have to consider is 2009 MacBook.
Because
okay, it works. 2010 MacBook. Okay, it works.
Because I can't build an Apple, but I can build a PC.
But it's against the terms of service. Because I thought about, because I really want to at least try out Mac OS.
Right.
Like, honestly, try it out. I don't think I'd like it, but I want to try it out. One thing you can do is build the Hackintosh, which is your own hardware. You have people on forums that try to support it, that try to write drivers for it, and it kind of can get... That's when Apple's like, we're not responsible for that, because that's going to be bad press for us. So if they build the Hackintosh, that isn't our fault if it doesn't work.
So in a way, Apple is saying, if you want something that's super reliable, if you want something that's not going to get the virus,
buy us.
If you're not going to, then you're going to buy us. But when you buy us, you buy the whole package. You don't upgrade. You don't, unless you bring it into an authorized service provider, you don't add more RAM. You don't add more memory. You don't add more, I guess those are the same things, aren't they? RAM and memory. But you don't add more storage space yourself. But like your PC sitting there, as long as your case can hold the new motherboard,
like
the new motherboard can support.
I'm gonna build a completely new system in that. Hopefully.
As long as you can add whatever you want, but when you start doing that, then that's when it makes it unstable, and that's why PC has the reputation that it does versus
Let
Mac,
me explain viruses on PCs.
Okay.
So, you have 80% of the people that have a PC, and you have 20% of the people that have a Mac, and their Mac works pretty well because it's all supported. If I'm a virus writer, what I want to do is reach the most amount of people in the easiest amount of time. I want the people that will click on the link, that'll go through it, that'll pay me money. I'm going to target PC because there's so much more people on it. There's so much more, and no offense to anyone, but there's so much more people that are technology illiterate on PC because they can't afford it. They're just like, give me a computer, any computer. I just need a computer because the boss said I need a computer. But with Mac, on the other hand, you have the people that know, okay, I need this Mac because I'm going to be designing in Final Cut Pro X. I'm going to be doing this certain CAD simulation that only has a Mac. Or, and I bet there's also people that are like, oh, the Mac's pretty and shiny. But they're so protected by it that it doesn't matter. If you're a virus developer, you're going to develop for PC. And that's why PC has this bad rep about viruses, and Mac has this great rep. It's just that people don't make viruses for Macs.
But does a Mac house like Adobe software? I mean, do they? Because it used to be that they were incredibly proprietary. They would say, I'm not even putting, like when I first started teaching, one of the districts that I taught at put a Mac in front of me, and it was so difficult for me to use that Macintosh. Because it works opposite. I mean, if it's grayed out, I'm thinking, well, that's not an active link, but that's the active link for Macintosh. for me, it was exactly the opposite. When I scroll with the mouse this way,
yeah, that's really.
when I'm pulling my finger down, it's like I'm pushing the page down. But for Macintosh, it's like, no, you need to push it up. You need to push it up, not down, because that's taking the page. And I guess that makes logical sense, but because I've been doing this for so long,
all of them make sense.
To push it down, to push the page down, that
oh gosh,
going like this, it's so anyway. It's exactly the opposite for me. And
you know
so,
what's really annoying? I have this Adobe Premiere 1.5. I'm pretty sure it was written for a Mac originally. But one thing while it's loading, I want to show you this. But one thing while it's loading, you have to write your own software for a Mac, and Apple has to go and say, is this good? Yes, we accept it. Okay, you can publish that for download on a Macintosh.
So
Apple
Adobe,
audits
Java, all of those companies out there that make certain kinds of software need to have it approved by Apple before Apple will say, okay, you can put Apple something something on the box, compatible with Apple something something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let me show you this Adobe Premiere. So what I want you to do, and it's amazing that I have this Premiere 1.5. I am editing a video right now on my computer that I described to you, which is pretty darned amazing. But let me try. So normally
I need to get this off of this table. That's embarrassing.
when you, it doesn't. Come on, it's okay. Jeez.
Well, it just takes a little acetone and it'll be done.
But
unless
what
the
about-
acetone will eat the plastic.
Yeah, I guess this is plastic. Normally you scroll like this, and you think you'd be going into the video, right? If you're scrolling up.
Yes.
It's opposite, and on newer versions of Premiere, you don't have to scroll in like that to actually scroll in. So when I went to this, I spent so long just scrolling the wrong way. This is how it works on Macs.
You know,
and they designed it for a Mac.
I think you're.
But on
kind of,
XP, it doesn't make sense.
I
Try
think
it.
you're kind of amazing because I can't because I don't know this software at all. But
Just
okay,
try.
so
Just try zooming in.
Try zooming in. Oh.
Isn't that annoying?
Yes, it is because you think that you're. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, but I think you're kind of amazing to go to these programs that you're simply not used to, except for. Like I think a lot of the Word, Excel, you know, even though like the 2012 version versus the 2017, I don't remember what the versions were, what years they were, but
it's amazing that it's so similar. And
it is
I really
so
I need to
similar
show you this, guys. So I'm gonna get. Why don't you talk? I'm gonna get something set up so I can show you.
Well, it was just so easy to go from one, you know, into the other because many of the same things, they might have added 1 or 2 or 3 different features or made certain things
They have
easier,
different features.
similar but
It's
easier.
different. But
Yeah.
there's certain things that are just super similar. For this 13-year-old software, it's just so similar, and it's honestly amazing.
But there are some things that have changed, you know, so dramatically and so much that it really does frustrate you. Like, I think you're amazing to be able to go to this much older 17-year-old software
Everything
and
I do
yeah,
on
and
the
still
new
be
one.
able to do everything that
And
you want to do.
I've never used Office 03 before.
But I
Never in
also,
my life.
but I also like my keyboard had coffee spilled on the numlocks keys, and part of my password is right in here. So whenever my screen locks, I need to use part of this in order to access, and it was sticking. So Minecrafter took my my keyboard, the Logitech that I'm used to using. He took this off, this off, and he washed it out for me.
I made a whole video just hosing down.
And it just was so soaked with water, and that it's not well, it's dried out, but he replaced it with a Microsoft, that keyboard with a Microsoft keyboard that's split, and it's a wonderful ergonomic keyboard. It's wonderful.
I prefer
but
this one though.
It's
for
huge,
comfort.
and my fingers are going because there's this area in the center of the all together. Do I have enough steps in? Holy Moses! I only have 500 steps today.
555.
Jeez Louise. But I'm trying to work on my lesson plans, and it's so frustrating because my fingers are not in the right place on the keyboard, and because the keyboard is so different, so it's just really frustrating. Anyway, you want to show them something?
I wanted to show you this. So this is Office 03 on XP. This is the paragraph page. So
you
if
want me to hold your poem?
select something, I'm okay.
Okay.
This is paragraph. Look at that. Look at how the preview works. Oh, this all just looks.
It's very similar.
And now I'm going to Office 2016. This is the paragraph. Exactly the same. Like, I guess set as default is different. That's the only new thing. There's only one new thing. It looks the same. It works the same. It's the same. And I find that amazing. And it isn't only that. There's so many different things.
So this is how old?
In this 15-year-old software.
15
And of course
years
they
old.
added tabs in Office 2007. You have a completely new way that it prints. You have a completely new backstage view. It's a lot better, I think, in Office 2016. But in 2003, this is basically base Word. This is what Word does today. It's amazing.
This is something, though, that they used for
Since
10 years, 11 years, 12 years. They
used
this
it all the way up
long
until
time.
all the way up until Office 2007. So they used it from, I know, Office 97, 95, for Windows 3.1, for Windows 1.0 even. They had that. Like the same thing.
Yeah.
When they changed it, and I think it's better, but other people didn't really like it. I bet there's still a lot of people that use Office 2003 because they just don't like the new version.
Well, the thing that drives me nuts is the start button. I am.
Do you prefer it like this?
I had a laptop that was Windows
8.
And then I had a desktop.
I don't know what
that's Windows
Microsoft
10.
is thinking about for Windows 8. That was just really Microsoft. You're gonna remove the start menu?
Yeah, but I've gotten so used to Windows 10. I've gotten so used to having my, what do they call it, a Metro? What do they call that pop-up menu? That whole.
You have the Broadway street on this side, and then you have the normal thing here.
But
on Windows 10,
I find that to be so now, because I hated it. I was like, why would you need all of this garbage? But man, I'm telling you, I can pin something there, and I know it's there.
Like on Windows 10, I have my start menu exactly the way that I like it. Let me change my main desktop properties. Let me change it to display 2. There you go. I have this the way that I really like it because I have all of my programs here. Very quick access to everything that I need. And I'm very happy with my start menu. But on XP, I also really like the XP, the 7. The only start menu I didn't like was Windows 8. Because it was just a big blob of blah.
It was a big blob of blah, but people didn't use Windows 8 for very long. They either stuck with Windows 7 or they waited for Windows 10. And Windows 10 wasn't an option. Windows 10 was a command, you know. It was a you will do this. And because it was free, most people did. So.
And it is an upgrade over Windows. You have DirectX 12. Just talking about technologies, you have DX12, which will support all your new games. It's already supporting games. You have all of these apps built in, so you can, if you want to have a Twitter app instead of going to the web browser, you have Twitter right there. It's a lot faster. You have different technologies that work together. It's modern. It supports new hardware. It's the operating system that you need if you're using Windows. I'm just being honest with you. As long as you can disable all the telemetry, all the spying that Microsoft does on you, then you're golden with Windows 10. Honestly, it's like Windows 7 but better.
Yeah, you can, and I think that as people we've come to say, well, it's okay, yeah, because it does make my life a lot easier to have. Do you want me to save this password? Yes. And then when I log in, I
don't
just
think
have to
saving
click
your
and then
password
click.
is much of a privacy violation as long as you tell Chrome to not keylog or do anything like that.
But it is when you're a teacher and kids can sit down and click on, my gradebook, Infinite Campus gradebook.
What we need to do is whenever you walk away from your computer, do Windows key plus L. It'll lock out the computers. They have to sign back in.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a password like this, it's just convenient to just click on it and no one can mess around with anything.
That's a for sure. And I need to come up with something that better secures. If kids are back there, now that I have my clicker, it's nice because I can click through.
Yeah, she has this presenter thing.
And it's not because I'm lazy and can't walk 3 feet back to my desk and hit click. I have to walk.
When you're presenting, it's like
huge.
this. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
But for me, it's not that 3 feet. It's 22 feet. It's I've got a very big.
You gotta have a clicker, guys. That's like a thing.
But I know that it was. I guess it could be a really a slippery juggernaut to have kids sitting behind my computer. But, I think we get used to people spying on us because it's nice to say, "Oh yeah, that's what I wanted."
You can disable things that spy on you in Windows 10 especially. You can even install software that'll change the registry and things like that. It can get annoying, but I'm going to talk about that later in the show. Let's talk about compatibility on XP. So as you might have known, there is a little registry hack that you can do that'll tell Microsoft that you're using Microsoft POS Ready 2009, which will get support up until 2019. So if you do that hack, you can have XP supported for another year. After that, it's like, really, you're still using Windows XP? Why would you do that? It's not compatible.
It's 2020. Yeah.
You can't run new games. You can't run new software. It's old. It's out of date. It's archaic. Why would you still do that? But the support that it still has, I'm receiving Windows updates. Like I was saying, I can get all these new programs on there. Of course, app developers are like, well, why do I want to still support this 17-year-old operating system? Why would I spend so much time writing code to make sure XP works? So especially for the new stuff, you're probably not going to get it, but...
And you're running into the same thing as, if I'm
it's
a hacker,
still supported.
I'm going to target the greatest number of PC users, but if I'm an app developer, why would I be writing for a software that only 8% of the people still use?
So... The compatibility with XP has really genuinely and positively surprised me. So
you're doing a 1-week challenge, I see.
Yeah, kinda. So the thing is, I have XP installed on my box, and I only had to use XP in 2005 tech for a week. But that means ditching my phone and using like one of these cameras to do all of my YouTubing and Twitching and whatever. But the problem is that we have old cell phones, but I have to find an old cell phone. I have to get my SIM card into it far, somehow. And then I have to make sure that I can send and receive text messages, because it's really important to have text messages in 2018, especially when I'm working this summer job and everything. I need to have my WhatsApp. I need to see what's going on, because, and we'll get to it later, but we actually had to cancel one of the days for my NSA summer job, which is really frustrating, but we might have to go in sometime and redo that day.
What would be nice is if they would just have the kids that are working come in and maybe like get the hallways ready, spend the 8 hours that you would have spent at NSA, but spend the 8 hours getting the hallways
I would have
ready,
showed up. Well, that's like on my topic list. That's down some more.
We'll talk about why it was canceled.
We're gonna talk about it like way down. So closet reorganization. So yesterday, I was cleaning up my room. I was getting ready to shoot some video, and then I got into my closet, and I was like, you know what? I have this other room with all of these computer parts, and they're just laying in there, and I don't like how it's all bad like that. So I said, I'm gonna tear apart my closet, and I'm gonna reorganize it. So I tore apart my closet, And I put all these computer parts in. I put a lot of stuff on the top shelf, which is kind of worrying because I don't want it to fall down. Because there's a lot of weight up there. I'm going to show you in just a little bit. But now I have my drawer for all of my underpants and t-shirts. And then right next to it I have my drawer for all of my computer parts. And I got a lot of stuff in there. And I'm very happy. And it looks good, right?
It looks good, yeah, but it does, like you said, you do have a lot of weight on your shelf. And it's a lot of stuff that if we were to, like clear this table and you clear it of all of this other stuff and just kind of pile it onto the table or walk it downstairs and put it in our backyard and sort through it, probably 3/4 of the stuff is stuff that we don't want to store anymore.
But I know there's one box that had like wedding pictures of people and all these different memories. But then again, you've kept it in the closet for 20 years.
Yeah, why are we not looking at the memories? Why is it not in a scrapbook? But then there's another thing that
you
technology
even had a teaching mug in there.
Well, there's another thing though I think that technology kind of surpassed is that you don't necessarily have physical scrap books anymore. Now, all of the scrapbookers out there are going to say, what? Because, yeah, scrapbooking is huge, but...
There are pros and cons to that. I guess it isn't. It isn't something that you can hold and smell and pass on. It isn't like this amazing... It isn't like this really physical thing that you can have an attachment to. But online, you can share it with people easily. You can scan it. You can send it to the whole family.
I can go like this,
so
and suddenly I can see the face and start going, who is that young man? I can't quite... I can go like...
You can add metadata tags and say, oh, this is Paul Hetlinger.
Yeah. From 1927, and he was born in Winchester. Yeah, I can have all of that info right there in a little meta file.
So I think that's one of the major pros to having things digital. Also, if your house burns up, but you have it stored on the computer, or you have many different copies.
I have it in the cloud.
It's not going to get destroyed.
Right.
And I think you need to keep that physical thing, because that physical thing is always going to be special.
Because you can lift it up.
But you also need a digital.
It's the book. It's the book version versus the Kindle version.
And one thing about my dad, he got all of these old pictures sent to him from family. The first thing he did, got out the scanner and he just scanned all that in. And one thing he might also do is restore it so that it looks very nice and maybe print out another copy. It's just, computers are just so great. And I know that there's a lot of debates about technology good, technology bad, especially in like English class.
Are we losing ourselves because of technology?
And I think it's the new form of pen and paper. And I think pen and paper needs to be kept.
It is the new form of pen and paper, but then it's also us losing our ability to it's not necessarily losing our ability to write, because I can still write well on a PC versus, handwriting stuff. But I've lost my ability to, my penmanship. And I had one teacher argue that he absolutely hated kids wasting time writing in cursive because he can't read it. and I thought, well, cursive, from an English teacher's perspective, cursive unlocks so much, creativeness in your brain.
It's and like a color balance.
And it takes some synapses and it bridges these little things that fire in your brain. And when we stop teaching cursive, that connectivity and that flow, and when we stop teaching that, we lost that our left side and our right side of the brain aren't working the way that they really, really need to work. Cursive is an important thing that we just don't write anymore. We just put an iPad in front of them. We just put a Chromebook in front of them. Let's let them get all of their ideas down on that. They can just take dictation, or they don't even need to write in their planners anymore. Just go take a picture of my board and email it to yourself and CC your mom, so that I know at least you've got the homework in 2 places. Yeah, I don't need to write down any of the notes because I'm just going to take a picture of the screen.
I don't like that. Like taking pictures of the notes, that's wrong, because when you write it, you're processing it. That's going through your mind. But when you take a picture of it, to be perfectly honest with you, you're probably not even gonna look at it.
Yeah. You're
So
just
as long
taking a
as you
picture.
write it and don't look at it, at least you still process that information a
Well,
bit.
and I think that you also just check it off in your brain. Okay, I've got it. Well,
Mhm.
that's not getting it. Getting it and I've got it are two very different things.
And one thing else, you might say writing is in handwriting it out. Even if you are typing it, you are still thinking about it.
One of the things that I really loved
And
about
when I typed this, it meant more to me than just thinking it or saying it. It took time and real thought to figure it out to sound good, which this did not.
Exactly. One of the things that Minecrafter pulled out of my little box of memories was my first PDA, my first
I wanna hook
digital
that up
assistant.
again.
And what I loved about my first digital assistant was that it had the handwriting recognition. And even though it was really pathetic, the handwriting recognition was really pathetic, I could still write something and it would type it for me. And my typing skills, unlike what you just saw Minecrafter do, my typing skills are
Not too great though. Even if you're typing it, you're still thinking about it.
G.
When I
Think
type
G
this,
about
it's
it.
manat more to
Manat.
me than just thinking it or
Yeah,
saying
there
it.
are people out there who are
Weep.
better typers than you, but you are exponentially a better typer than I am.
A lot of.
And even, like I can't go from keyboard to keyboard. There are lots of kids that it doesn't matter what size the keyboard is or how the keys are laid out or
Yeah,
as
keyboards.
long as it's QWERTY.
Keyboards, I can type on many different things, but I might not get up to speed. Like this one, it has more of a play in the keys, and it's kind of squeaky a bit, so it kind of degrades my speed because I can't really press the keys at the speed that I want to. On like the laptop keyboard, the keys are just, the travel is so poor that it just really is so confined. I don't like it. But on my mechanical keyboard, I've gotten so used to the way that the switches press, how much force I need to press to get them to work, that I can get to complete speed on that, and it is pretty fast.
And then me, on the other hand, when I go to your mechanical keyboard, it takes a good 10-15 minutes for me to even like it, because I'm so used to the capacity of this touch versus that touch that...
And it's just
but
because...
when I like it, trying to go, once I get used to it, which only takes about, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes, once I'm used to typing on that mechanical keyboard, trying to go back to one of these...
And that's the same
like
thing with
torture.
these for me.
It's like torture.
And since I've been typing on this for a few days, I'm starting to get used to it, and I can get up to pretty much full speed. My mechanical keyboard, I've been typing on it for almost 2 years now, and I just absolutely love it. And I haven't kept a keyboard for this long and still typed on it so frequently. I spent $100 on that thing. I do not regret it one little bit.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite. I think my favorite parts to set up first to be, I don't know. I like my monitor right there. That's a really nice thing. I like my monitors, and I also really like my keyboard. I have Logitech G402 mouse. I've been using this for almost 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
I remember we bought it Black Friday, like 3 years ago, I think. And not only does it still look brand new.
I can learn to understand you
Oh
much
my
better.
gosh,
if I can get
Cortana,
familiar with
no!
I need your
No.
permission to help. I can
No.
learn to understand.
There, go away. I hate you,
Jeez
Cortana.
Louise, Cortana.
Jeez.
But I know we talked about my Google Assistant on the last show, but
listens
I'm
to you.
telling you, I love her. She's amazing.
She's so smart. That's another
She's
topic,
so
actually. That's my update on Google Assistant.
She's very smart.
But I
Anyway.
guess just finishing up my keyboard talk, how do we even get into keyboards?
Well, we did because we were talking
you were
about
talking
the
about
the fact that you
pictures
need
and
to write things
memorabilia.
down and how kids have really gotten away from certain things. We were talking about your 1 week challenge and how easy it's become for kids to their phone is so much more than just their phone.
Oh, but going back into phones,
this is super heavy.
it's pretty light.
Well, yeah, it's very lightweight for a camera, but man
It's a
almighty.
camera. It turns on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have enough. I hate these batteries. They don't work at all. GE, you suck. I'm just kidding.
I need to take one of your cheapo cameras to school as a prop.
Ooh, the only one that you could... Well, you can take this Vivitar right here because this guy, you gave it to me. But I don't think the picture quality is here, and this picture quality is just atrocious. So...
They're atrocious picture qualities.
Yeah.
You know, that's really sad because these cameras are not that very old. This is a GE 12.1 megapixel.
It's because megapixel count doesn't really matter. It's the amount of pixels, the color science behind it. I guess one thing you were talking about, like cursive, what I thought
how
was...
many different functions that are on this little sucker right here.
But when you're talking about cursive, I thought that's kind of like the color balance of a picture or a movie or a video or whatever. It really just sets a scene. It sets how you think about it. And when you look at something typed in Times New Roman 12 double spaced, you think, well, that's generic.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The writing itself is creative.
It's all the same thing, and
but
that's
it's
why
just generic.
you know we have defont.com that says
You should make
here,
your own
here's some-
font. You should make like
Yeah.
your own handwriting
Yeah,
font.
your own handwriting.
Just
font.
immortalize it forever.
But handwriting used to be beautiful, and the way people said things used to be beautiful, and what they wrote to each other used to be beautiful. And now it's such crap, and it's just a bunch of letters thrown together like
my handwriting.
No, it's not your handwriting. It's the text message, the concept of the text message taking over.
Oh, yes.
How
Texting.
how we put our ideas.
Like LAR and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like all of those. I like LOL and things like that. But I know that I've texted some people and they text me acronyms and I'm like, what the heck is that? And I have to look it up. Like TMI. Okay, well TMI is too much information.
Well, yeah, but
So like morning coffee with
LA
Barnacles is like all the way TMI. Like everything is just TMI, Jerry. Way too much. Too much.
it took me a long time to figure out what the L, the 8, and the R meant
Later.
until I actually
What's up,
sounded
Commander
it
Root? How
out.
you doing?
But that whole shortening of the stuff for an English teacher, oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. But then 5 years ago, it drove me more insane than it does now, because now
You've gotten used to it.
is it a form of shorthand? Is it now it's
It's
should
still
we accept
text.
it? It's not going away, so should we accept it? And maybe we should. So I don't know. Anyways,
Oh, gee.
oh Lord,
Talking about TMI.
seriously, that's
Well, she's
man.
giving him his shot.
Yes, she is. But does he have to lay completely naked on the bed, or was that just one of those clickbaity things?
No, I think.
Hey,
it's...
come and look at my bare naked body.
There's his.
Oh my. Are those his gummies? Okay. Anyway, that's what we're talking about right now. Anyway, let's get back to that. So
Okay, let's move into
you've
topics.
attempted a 1 week, but you can't seem to pull yourself
What?
away from
No,
your phone.
no. What I need to do is get a SIM card into a phone, and once I do that, then I'll be okay.
Then
But
you
I
can
don't
start
know
your-
if we have a phone with a SIM card like
yeah,
that.
I'm wondering
So
too.
I'm trying to figure that out.
My
But
favorite
right now,
ancient phone, I think, is at school as a prop.
I'm just figuring
Oh,
out
sorry,
XP,
guys. My
getting
elbows
into
are
it,
kicked
getting used to it. I guess moving on to other topics. Closet
Other
organization.
topics. Closet organization.
I'm worried about top shelf falling down. Yes,
Yeah.
I am. Work
We
on
talked
pool.
about that.
So, we
Woo!
got our
Let's
new
talk
fins
about
on
this.
Thursday. They actually got delayed. They were supposed to come in
Well,
on Wednesday, but they got delayed until Thursday because
There's
of
a
our
reason.
torrential rains.
yes.
Yeah, torrential rains, they're pretty horrible. That's why
Flooding
NSA got canceled.
everywhere.
It flooded,
oh my
yeah.
gosh. And it
Flash
was
flooding.
terrible
We had like
flooding.
10
And
flash flooding
sinkholes
warnings.
And
Sinkholes.
roads being washed away. Yes, yes. You haven't seen all the pictures. There's total devastation. Just we're lucky. Our street was lucky. We didn't have any.
Yeah, we didn't have
Our
much at all.
viaducts weren't full of tires and old refrigerators and fenders, so we were lucky because they
They were
cleared out
able
all
to
the
drain
debris
out.
for us, so we didn't get it. Our streets didn't flood, but like one of my colleagues called me the other day, and just to ask how we were doing after the weather, and she said she had to go chase down her garbage can because
Oh,
it was
no.
floating down the middle of the
Jeez.
street. So she had to go get her shorts on and wade into almost waist deep water to go rescue her
Man.
garbage can. Yeah, so we were lucky. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't get that kind of flooding. But yeah, that's why it was delayed. But
So
anyway, our
work
new
on
fence got
pool.
here.
We installed them. They were in good condition. The only thing that annoyed us was that the box was completely crushed by FedEx.
Oh,
Like it was like they dropped it off the back of a truck. It was
Oh.
fine though.
the
But
fins were okay?
the box
Holy
was in
crap.
horrible condition. But when we got the pins, we inspected them. They were all good. The fabric was very high quality.
I think that
Everything was high quality. The plastic felt like this plastic right here, like it's just not gonna break easily.
good.
The metal was metal, stainless steel.
Good.
So I was very
And
happy
it came
with the
complete,
quality.
100% manifold.
We
all
just
the way
had to
down
place
to,
it in there, and we got it in there.
And the pool is in one day already filtering itself, and we've already had to backflush a handful of times because the algae was just.
It's already, you can already see the
you know,
bottom.
Once your water stopped circulating, you got yourself a pond. So yeah, our algae grew, and it was already growing because our filter stopped working. So
A long time ago.
a long
probably.
time ago. So our algae was really very active inside our water, inside our poop. So now it's getting clean, and I am, oh my gosh,
Yeah, we'll
excited.
probably be
because
able
it
to go
might be-
swimming very,
yeah,
very soon.
It might be if you guys get out there and work on our
We
pool
need
cleaner.
to. We need to.
It's very possible.
brush it.
Yeah, it's
So,
very possible.
The water
that we'll
is
have
getting
it.
clean.
But
We're
we've
excited about that.
But we've had so much rain, and today it's 90 some, almost 100 degrees.
But it'll still filter out. You're still just filtering that
but
water.
to stand outside, I'm saying, in the direct sunlight, in that
You should
heat,
probably go out soon.
it's like steamy, rainforesty, humid, 100% or 278% humid out there. It's like it's like sitting in a sauna, but sitting in a sauna when it's 125 degrees outside. You don't want to sit in a sauna when it's that hot. You want to sit in a sauna when it's nice and chilly outside. So it might be really, especially this late in the day, it might be really yucky to go out and do that. But
So scaffolding plan. So I have my lights on tripods. My dad always gets annoyed when he has to walk in here. He's always like, "Why don't you put these lights up?" And I'm like, "Jeez."
once I get them into the right spot,
It's hard to move
it's
them.
really hard to move them.
So my plan is that I don't know if you've ever seen Paul's Hardware Garage, but he has this scaffolding where it's made out of 2x4, so it isn't the prettiest thing. But he has all of these things that are built up so he can put his lights there. He has a microphone mounted. I'm thinking about possibly mounting a tripod so I can have a B-roll shot without overcomplicating a whole bunch of different tripods. Also, my tripod broke. Tripod mount just broke clean off. So I only have one working one. So Drama for Mama has to be my new
B-roll.
tripod.
My B-roll tripod.
But we're just thinking about maybe copper pipe. I think
Yeah.
that'd be the best option
Somewhat
because it'll look
lightweight,
pretty.
long,
Mhm.
not terribly, horribly expensive.
We can solder it together. We can
Yeah.
have these different connections that we can build exactly what we want.
L's or some T's. And
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And copper will be really, really pretty.
Mhm.
And
So we
a
can
C
show
clamp
it
will
off.
easily fit on it, and it's not going to be so terribly heavy
When we
that
talk
you're.
about C-clamp, we're thinking about, let me show you guys. We're thinking about something that we have the shelf put up like. I just showed your face. I know, she hates that. She absolutely hates that. but we're thinking about something like this shelf right here, guys. You know, that is a SATA cable. Don't judge. Just don't. Okay? You can't see it at all.
Ooh, look at that spot that's kind of bled through the paint there. We need to
Hold on.
repaint that sometime.
I know.
No, that's a wheelie chair. Oh my God, you child, you.
See? That's what we're thinking about. And that is a fake bird, and yeah, look at that SATA cable. And look at that ugly, ugly paint job. You.
Oh!
I'm okay.
Ah,
I'm okay. I bamboozled you. I almost broke my little toe, though. Okay, back to the stream.
There's my belbows. Oh,
Your-
those are my hands. I was talking about my belbow.
Your belbow? What's
Yes.
that?
Right here.
I've never heard of a belbow.
My belbow. What's this little flap of skin called on your elbow?
Your
Fox?
weenus.
My weenus.
I have a very small weenus. Actually, no, my weenus is
I
pretty
wouldn't
huge.
admit that. Your weenus is quite long.
No,
It
it's
is.
huge.
For normal people, that's pretty long weenus. My weenus is not nearly that long. Look at my weenus in comparison to your weenus.
Hey!
Jeez. Okay. Let's move past weenuses.
Okay,
That
that's a
scaffolding
good
plan is
stream
going to
for
be really
you.
great because you're going to do an L. You're going to go across
Yeah,
the room
I'm
this
really
way,
excited.
and you're going to go across the room this way, and that way you can.
We need to
Just
start
C-clamp
construction on
everything
that today. We
yeah.
need to go to Lowe's.
Well, I think maybe we can go to Lowe's
We need
if
to
I can get a
measure.
plant. I want to get a plant.
Uh-huh.
I've got spillers.
And I'll vlog the whole
My
process.
thrillers aren't getting very tall, so now I want.
And speaking of vlogging, the two projects I'm working on, I need to drop a video today. I'm gonna try to finish editing the cleaning vlog, so that should be up to you soon. You're probably like, ugh, cleaning vlog. It's different than my other ones. It's like a vlog, like a proper vlog, not like what I've done before.
Okay.
It's kind of like a work vlog, and those are popular among tech tubers. So hey, that's nice. I'm also going to vlog my scaffoldings that should go up. Fiverr review. I am working on that. We just got the B-roll shot and the A-roll. I mean, we didn't get the B-roll. We got the A-roll shot with two different camera views. That's what I meant by B-roll. With Drama for Mama's help.
Yay.
Now I need to shoot like 29 B-roll things. There's a whole lot. I made this
Look
whole
at
script
that
on Word.
beautiful
Look at all of
Word
that.
script.
Look at that. I need to shoot all of these
Roll.
comments that you see. Those are B-roll shots that I need. And I
Roll.
kind of got discouraged because I looked here and it was creating new account and creating new gig. But it took so long to do that there was like 10 minutes of footage. I don't know how I'm going to edit that into 20 seconds.
Oh Lord.
I'll just probably have to show you the process and stop the talking.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that should work out. I
and
just need
we've-
to pop it into an editor and see what I need to see. But let me-
We've talked about Fiverr before, and I think if any of you are out there really interested at all in voiceovers or in, I mean, they've got a lot of like just typing, like word processing stuff. Like if you like to type, you know, go check out Fiverr.
That's
I
more
mean,
a freelancer.
Yeah, it is.
I know
a
Whiny.
Fiverr,
Whiny
and-
has a typing gig. She has not gotten any orders, but she has a typing gig where she's like, I will type up your Word document to a PDF and it's going to be so great.
Poor Whiny.
I saw her
The-
also in Buyer Request and I was like, oh my gosh. Not Whiny. And it wasn't even for something I wouldn't have even sent her an offer because Whiny's the person that gave us a bad review and she just told us to jump and it really ticked us off. So
Said, you will
that's
do
our
this
context.
For me. No, you will get this done.
she was
for
like,
me.
revise.
You
Oh,
will
we
do
changed the script, revise. And I was like, really? Really?
I changed the script. Read it exactly the way that the script is written. Okay. And yes, to her benefit, we didn't get the script, but to our benefit, we didn't get the script. She sent it. We just got it. We were looking, and Fiverr does things oddly like that. Your telephone view is different than your computer.
Oh yes, that's one thing I want to mention. So let's move on
Anyway,
quickly.
so yeah, you guys have to check out Fiverr. Let them know that you came because of Minecraft. Crafter
Mhm.
X.
One thing I mentioned in my review, if I'd look at it right here, I mentioned that, I'll just read the line for you. In addition, I have noticed some numbers are different across platforms. On the website, I have a bad 8-hour response time, whereas the app grants me an outstanding 1-hour response.
Yay.
Weird.
Yeah,
That's the
how is
exact
that?
line. Why
How
would
is
they
that
do
so
that?
Weird?
Why?
Anyway.
That's weird. Like, really
So
weird.
you're complaining about your B-roll taking too long? We'll figure it out. You'll figure it
I
out.
just need
know
to
you
pop
will.
it into an editor
And
and
it could
edit.
also be that you're showing the process when you're not really even talking about the process, and that's...
No, I know I've done B-roll before. It's just that I need to get my butt on it and just do it.
So
Maybe you can help me today just to make sure my butt is on it. Okay. So let's talk about Google Home. We did order those new switches, but they got delayed until Tuesday.
Of course they got delayed.
Like, come on, Nue. Why Tuesday? Like, we
Well,
ordered them last RANDtek.
And this storm is not just isolated to our particular area. I mean, storms move across the U.S., so there are storms everywhere.
It's too long of a wait time.
It's really frustrating.
Really?
I know. When you order something, you want it. And I think that that's one of the things that Amazon has done to spoil us, too. It's very instant. 2-day delivery, prime.
But I want instant gratification, not like instant, but instant.
It's not like we ordered them on Wish, you know, where you forget that you ordered something and then 6 months later something shows up at your door and you're like, oh, Merry Christmas to me! You know, it's not like that. But it's, yeah, I mean, when it's a week, we ordered it when...
So we ordered it last Friday's last RANDtek, so it's already been a week and 1 day. That'd be 2 days Sunday, 3 Monday, 4. A week and 4 days, so that's 7, and then that's 11 days.
But it's really cool. Hey Google, turn on my blah blah blah. Hey Google, shut off my blah blah blah. It's gonna be really cool.
So
and like
using
Google,
the Google
like
Home, I really liked it for music.
her.
The voice recognition is excellent. I can blabber on when I'm half asleep, and she'll understand me.
Yeah, and she does. And we a lot of times we use our assistant at night. And what's really lovely is that we might be listening to something, or you know, like when these storms were raging, I would hear my alert go off on my phone. Well, instead of needing to wake myself up and look at my phone, I could say, "Hey Google, what's the weather like?" And she would let me know. There's this.
Did
this
you actually do that
here.
when I was asleep?
I did because
God.
it went off at 3 a.m. and I wanted to know if it was like a tornado or if it was just a warning me about the flood, the flooding potential.
I know. When I was trying to fall asleep last night, I was like, then you'd be like, "Hey Google," and I was like, "Ah!" Did you notice? I was like,
"Oh, I didn't notice. I'm sorry."
It's
But
okay.
but what I really like is that we say, "Hey Google, good
Take
night."
me to the nearest. Oh,
we say good night
because you can say one thing and it'll do multiple things. So once I get the lights, I'll say like, "Hey Google, I'm ready to stream," and then it'll turn on my lights, make sure my monitors are on, make sure these lights, once I get smart bulbs, which I want to get, make sure these lights are turned off. It can turn on a fan, do anything, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that too. But when we say good night, she takes us through our routine. What time do you want to wake up in the morning? Would you like me to set an alarm?
Yeah, she said
do you want me
alarm.
to put on some night music for you or some night sounds for you? So she'll play crickets and oh my God, there was a bird last night that she played that was so loud and so annoying, and I just about wanted to drop kick it, the bird, not Google Assistant, but. She's awfully smart. I could say, what kind of diet should I have my overweight dog on? And she'll say, according to the blah, blah, blah. She's a very bright woman. Very bright assistant.
Especially compared to Siri.
Oh, my word.
Or do you have a woman crush on her?
I must have a woman crush on her.
Jeez. So moving along, when she's playing a song, and I'm like, "Hey Google, next song," a lot of the time she doesn't listen. So I have to go right up to the home and be like, "Hey Google, next song!" And it's really annoying.
Just like you. Yes. Really annoying.
Oh God. I'm pathetic.
What happened?
I saw myself on playback and it's like,
Yeah.
And
were
then you
annoying.
can watch that on playback.
And
Let's
see, we had 18.
Oh,
we
jeez.
had we had 18 viewers, and now we're down to 1.
We never had 18 viewers.
I know it. Anyway, so she's very nice for music. Very good voice recognition. She's when we're in the middle of something and we want to play the next song, like I asked her to play Broadway music, and there was some pretty illicit music that she was playing. I mean, it was talking about girl parts and things like that, and we asked her to, and other things, and we asked her to move on to the next song because
It rhymes though.
you know, I wanted to listen to I don't know
It rhymes well.
Joseph and his you know or Wicked's Learning to Fly, or you know I wanted to listen to something that was Les Mis, you know, something that was very inspirational, and all I was getting was
Bad stuff.
yeah, like
Not
the
necessarily
Book of
bad,
Mormon,
but just
the Book
really
of Mormon
weird.
is a nice show, but there's just
You didn't know that it was about what it is about.
yeah, but just
So,
push down
I could
those
totally-
feelings. Just push them down.
I could totally just talk like this for the rest of the show. Is this annoying?
Yes, it looks like you had a stroke.
Oh, I had a stroke. Oh.
It does. It
Okay,
looks like
so
you had a
moving
stroke.
along. Windows 10. So, I found out last week that Windows 10 has this new insider feature called sets, and I was like, this sucks. And then I was like, you know what, this is pretty great. And I was like, you know what, I need to have an opinion on this. So at midnight, I went into this room and I was like, I signed up for all the insider stuff and I started to install. But then I started to fall asleep like in my chair because it was almost 1 o'clock and I had work the next day. I literally started to fall asleep. And then I was like, you know what, I just need to put this to sleep and hopefully it'll be installed. So I went the next morning and of course it didn't do any installing when it was asleep. So I had to finish it that morning. And then I was like, you know what, let's try out sets. So I got the new thing installed and I didn't have sets. Because sets is kind of like, you know, a regular application like File Explorer. Now it allows you to have different tabs on that. And different tabs you can have like File Explorer and settings together. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. I do it in a different way, but I'll talk about that. But, where are you going? Do you need to go poo-poo?
Blow my nose.
Blow your nose.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay.
My allergies, guys.
Let's excuse her. But it wasn't installed and I did not have the sets feature, so I tried so hard and so long to try to find out how to install this thing. And my thing was, I guess I just don't have it. I guess they just didn't give it to me. So I decided to uninstall that build because it was an insider build, so File Explorer, whenever you moved it around, it lagged. It was just horrible to use. It crashed a lot. It was just not a good build. So I decided to roll back and I got onto the regular version of Windows 10. And then I looked at my computer yesterday and it was like upgrading to the new version of Windows 10, and it wasn't even like a do you want to upgrade, it was just automatically doing it, like when I wasn't using it. And I was like, what the heck? So I let it install, you know, maybe it's just like an update. And it was the same exact build of Windows 10 that I downgraded from. And I was like, what the HE double hockey sticks, Microsoft? I told you to uninstall this, and now you're installing it again? Like, why would you do that? Why would I say, don't give me this camera. Here, take the camera back. Okay, here's the camera. No, take it back. Oh, here's the camera again. Because what I found even more ridiculous was once I uninstalled that, once I told it to undo it, once I even told it to not give me insider builds, just give me like on the slow rank of insider builds, I came back this morning, and guess what? Guess what this morning? Guess.
What?
It had the same exact thing again!
Yeah.
Automatically!
Automatically.
And I was like, WTF, and I tweeted it out. I was all triggered at Microsoft. I don't know if Microsoft's gotten back to me on that yet.
Probably not.
Because I didn't email, like, their support team. I just emailed, like, their main.
And you tweet it, and tweeting is actually a good thing, I think, in a lot of ways, because I think it just gets out.
Gets it right out, right when you need it.
Right when you need it.
RANDtek Live 6:15. Oh no, it's the old notification. Fail. Okay.
Fail.
But
That's okay. You know what?
But when I
Everybody
got-
streams in, so
when I
they're
got
randomizing it.
when I got installed for the second time onto this new build, I noticed that I did actually have sets. So I tried it out, and it is pretty cool, right? How you can just right click and say new tab and explore, and then it'll open it up in a new
You'll
tab.
have to show them. You'll have to
I
show your
can't.
screen.
Because I had to downgrade because it doesn't work worth of shiz.
I know it. And
but
then your
I'm
camera
happy.
wouldn't work either, so.
I had to reinstall the drivers and now it works. But I'm pretty satisfied with sets. It is kind of iffy. What I would change is whenever you open a new tab, it's automatically in Microsoft Edge. I think that is one of the dirtiest practices to get people to use the browser. It's like, oh, Microsoft Edge is so much more used than. It's just so much more used than Chrome. Yeah, because it's
like
built
Bing.
into your OS.
It's like Bing. Bing is never going to be as popular as Google.
But one interesting thing, Microsoft Edge said that they did this test where it was like this JavaScript test. They said that it beat out both Chrome and Firefox, and I was like, BS! So I went and I tried out the test on Edge and Chrome, and guess what?
It did?
Like, flat out.
What?
It was,
Really?
and I don't know if it was like, I think
Huh.
bigger scores are better, and it got like a much bigger score, like 30 points bigger.
Wow.
And it was just Chrome was demolished by it, and I don't know if it's like a Microsoft designed
I love
test.
Chrome. I like using
Yeah.
Chrome. And
Yeah.
I think that
Just
people
works.
are really, unfortunately, and this is majorly unfortunate, but people are stuck in what they're used to. They're stuck in the way that they've always done things, and it's hard to change.
And I
so.
don't know if Edge is better or not. I just don't like it. I don't know why. I don't like it.
It's a feeling.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's how I
so
feel. But what I would recommend is that the new tab page is kind of different. I know that they have this thing where you can launch in-app applications, but I just think it needs to be more local, more, I don't know. Maybe they could even have sets for each individual application, but not make it so that you can have two completely different applications together. Or if it was just something different. It just feels too much like a web browser, and I know that's the thing that they're going for, but I just need it to feel more local, more like you're using a computer, so you don't get confused between Edge and Edge. They need that divide.
I get what you're saying. I understand totally, because I know when you showed me initially, my brain said, so you've got 3 tabs open. So what?
They need to make it just a different design, that's all I want. But right now it's just more of a, yeah, you're really trying to force us to use Edge, aren't you?
Yeah,
That's
and
how
I
it
can
feels.
easily get to what it's showing me.
And why would I want to
from
go
my
to
start
File
menu,
Explorer
from
to...
my Metro.
Why would I want to go to from File Explorer to searching up on Microsoft Edge by pressing New Tab? That doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't, yeah.
So
Anyway, we'll
hopefully
have
they
to,
change
we'll have
that.
to
They
use
probably
that
won't.
a little, and we might have a different opinion about it later on. So.
They probably won't change it, but hopefully they do. But I know I look back on XP and I'm like, man, it's just such a solid OS. Something
Boy,
that you
I
can.
tell you, my allergies are really driving me nuts, guys. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to.
Well, we're not done with the. I
Well,
guess
how
we're
much-
almost done.
How much more do we have?
Let's see.
I
So
think I forgot to take my allergy pill last night.
our final topic would be NSA Week 2. So Week 1, they gave me the edge rack of our school because they had someone cancel on them. They weren't able to make it Week 1. So I did that and I absolutely loved it. I just loved interacting with kids. I thought I made a positive impact. You know, you can watch last week's VOD to learn more about that, how much I loved it. It was creative. We got to do a lot of stuff, a lot of fun activities. You actually got to get outside of the classroom. It just felt like something that I'd really enjoy as a kid. But Week 2, I had to do technology.
Which is what
And
you love.
It seemed like I was presenting 100% of it. It seemed like nobody cared, except for me. Even the teacher, she didn't care at all. She just sat in the back. With Ed, the teacher was always participating, was always the presenter. He was in front of everything. He was on top of everything. The ed teacher was just like, I don't care. You guys know what you're doing. It was, the activities were so darned boring. You had this pen thing, and that's all they had to do for 80 minutes. It was this pen tool for Illustrator and Photoshop. That thing isn't easy to understand, guys. And if you didn't understand it, it would be miserable. And
there were some
that's the
kids
only
who
activity.
were. In fact, would you say the majority of kids using
When
it
I
were
talked to them,
miserable?
they're like, it was just so frustrating. I did not. It was fun, but it was frustrating. That's the thing that I heard. Every single kid that I talked to, 100% of them.
So
everyone.
it would have been better if you would have done a couple of different activities.
So I went up to them and I said, well, why don't we create a Khan Academy account? They said, no, they're just gonna lose that. You know, freshmen, Minecrafter, you know, they're just gonna lose. I'm like, all right then. I was like, well, why don't we do the hour of code? And that's what the teacher thought. She was like, oh, hour of code, really good idea, Minecrafter, let's do that. Oh, no, let's just do the pen tool. That's what we want to do. So I was like, all right. And when kids are like, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm going to go and play my cool maths games or whatever, I'm going to play my online games, they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. You better be doing the pen tool. And I was like, really? It's summer.
And somebody else needed to get up and help them when they got frustrated, so that they could figure out what
because
they were doing wrong.
I was actively monitoring. I was walking around and they were talking to me. I was answering their questions. I was talking to them about tech and everything like that. And they started to ask me questions about the game. And I was like, I don't know. So I had to go and get them. They were talking. They were gossiping and themselves. They were all in the back. No one participating except for one kid. She was actually sitting in with the kids and talking to them, which I liked. But everyone else was just in the back, gossiping, doing nothing. So I had to get them. I literally had to say, they need help. Help them. And then they finally got their butts off and actually helped them. And first period was bad, but the other periods were a bit better.
It was really sad, though, that you're a freshman trying to get kids that probably have done this before, maybe even for 4 years, to do what it is that
to do their job that they're getting paid for.
When a teacher just sat in the back of the room, not even engaged in what the kids were doing, and not even able to say, we're going to move on because these kids are frustrated and they're bored and they're ready to go on to the next thing. But that's what you get. I mean, it's unfortunate that teaching is a profession that's so underpaid and so, everything gets blamed on the teacher. They must have had a poor teacher. So you end up with poor teachers.
Corrosion.
It's too bad.
It's corroded.
We'll take the battery.
I'm surprised these Rayovacs. Oh, jeez. I'm surprised Rayovacs did that. They're usually pretty good batteries. But guys, any more rants? Any more ramble? I'm really excited about my new scaffolding. That's one thing that I really want to install. One thing, we are playing Google Feud, which I think they liked the first day we were playing that. And one of the things was, should I stop being blah blah, should I stop something something? And one of the top Google results was being a teacher. And I went to the teacher and I was like, isn't that sad how unappreciated teachers are? How people want to get out of education? Isn't that just sad? Because you guys need to get paid a lot more. I said that, you guys need to get paid a lot more. Because you do so much. Just doing this NSA, I'm exhausted. I love it. I love interacting with these kids. But every single day it feels like I'm sick. I'm exhausted at the end of the day. All I can do is just go home and lay down because I'm just so danged exhausted. I love it. But it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. And it's a really satisfying job, too. I've been in education for almost 30 years, and I do absolutely love it. I've devoted my life to it, and it's something that I love doing, and it's something that I do differently every year, and every year I try to get better, and every year I try to do something new and different and innovative, and like next year I'm going to try Google Classroom. I really want to get, situated and understanding Google Classroom so I can share more with the kids that can't necessarily be stored on Blackboard or can't necessarily be stored in the cloud or on there.
They just need to get you a calf, an iPad cart, so that they can touch it and really interact with it.
It's a possibility.
You need to talk
I
to Christian and
I
tell him.
use a lot of technology, and Christian can tell our new principal.
And you're gonna use a lot more technology with classroom.
She uses a lot more technology than some, than some of the other teachers do, and she really does deserve to have something more than what she's got.
And I think you also need to create like a OneNote class thing. So Google Classroom be the access to all the files, different assignments, but you need to have a OneNote where you can have all the folders and files in there.
But you're
That'd
very.
be their ITB.
I think you're right. I think that we would have teachers who would enjoy. I think we'd have better teachers who were more apt to give their jobs more time and more effort and more concerted everything. We'd have more professional staff if we were treated like professionals.
Mm-hmm.
I have nephews who just graduated from college who make more in their first year of being in business or being a computer design
programmer,
consultant.
You gotta love the developers.
I have a brother-in-law who just consults on what he would recommend your software be, and he makes almost 10 times as much as I do as a teacher. He's making 500. Well, he's probably making 250,000 a year, so he's not making 10 times more than I do, but he's making 5 times more than I do. He's making $300,000 a year just saying, I think you should use this software instead of this software. And I have to accommodate and modify and target and motivate and write and manipulate and research and present and communicate and govern and police and discipline, and I have to do all of that 8 hours a day, and then further, but people will say, well, you get your summers off. To make $60,000 a year with 3 months off in the summer, well, that's a lot of money. Well, no. You've got set hours. Well, no, I don't. I'm on call until 10:30.
You're working in the summer.
I'm working in the summer.
You have work to do today, probably, right?
Yeah, I've already done work today.
Guys, teaching is the most underappreciated profession there is out there.
Period.
Because
and that's
without
too bad. And
without,
I don't think
without
that
the tech teacher, you're not gonna have your programmer. You're not gonna have your kid that says.
One of the neatest things that my dad and we've talked about my dad on this stream before. My dad recently passed on January the 1st of 2018. He passed, and he was 98 years old. And he was a World War II veteran who landed in France on the shores of Omaha Beach and fought in the Battle of the Bulge and sat behind a howitzer and survived all of that. An amazing feat for any person to have survived all of that, and he did. But one of the stickers that he had on his in his house was, if you can read this, thank a teacher. If you can read this in English,
think a veteran.
Yeah.
I mean, because what they do is protect our freedom. They were the ones that made us free.
Yeah, very undeserved. But, it used to be that soldiers got paid, little if anything. And now, and I don't know about, non-commissioned or the grunts, if they get paid at all well, but I know I have a niece who makes $500,000 a year doing what she does, or $250,000 a year doing what she does. So, I think their officers are fairly well paid, and she's gone to school and she's worked her butt off to get to where she is. I suppose there's those kinds of people in every profession, but I really do think after 30 years of educating America's youth that I should be making more than $60,000 a year. And I don't think it's about a paycheck. I think it's about the fact that they'll say, I appreciate you so much and you're such a wonderful person. But then, I still get nothing, You can pat me on the back and tell me how much you appreciate me and what a change and a difference I've made in your child's life, but it's still not the same as saying, you know, and you shouldn't be, you know, trying to gather up enough money so that your husband can go see a doctor and trying to convince him that putting him on your insurance is something that you need to do because you just don't have enough to make your car payment or your house payment. Or to buy your well-deserving son the technology that he would love, but oh well.
I need a new DSLR and 5 new Rode NT1 microphones, and I've actually I'm actually thinking though about getting like a cheap XLR microphone and plugging it into this board and having it so that you have more of a microphone on your face, although it won't be the quality of the NT1, I could get one for like $20, like a cheap XLR, like a handheld mic. Would you like
Probably.
that, or do you think it would just degrade the overall
what about
quality?
your snowball over there?
I was also thinking about doing that and adding a bit of a delay on here, because this is faster than the USB bus. So they'd have it would be weird for them, but if I added the delay, I was trying to do that before the stream started, but then it was like, I wanted to start at 9:30, but then I had to downgrade Windows 10 because it decided to upgrade. It's like, really? Let's see if it wants to do that again. I'm gonna go to here, settings, updates paused. Okay, yeah, I really gave it the 4 and I paused updates and told them to stop it, and it's like, stop it! Just
You do
stop
not know
it!
what's best for me. You are not the boss of me. You are not the boss of me.
Oh well. Anyway, Minecrafter, I suppose it's about time for us to be ski-daddling. Do we have any viewers at all?
Let me look at the stats for this show. So it was not as good as the other show. I think streaming at 6 is a lot better than streaming at 9. So we need to always do evening streams, not
And
morning
it's a
streams.
Saturday morning. People are in bed.
Yep. So in all, let's see. We streamed for 1 hour and 50 minutes, which is amazing. We almost streamed for 2 hours today. We gained...
With allergies, guys, with allergies.
We did not gain any followers. Let me go to Nightbot. Nightbot, let me log in here and look at our active chatters and everything. Log in with Twitch. Authorize, there you go. So, we did not have any commands. The top chatter was me. We did not have anyone else in here. We only had one message today. This is a pretty sad stream, isn't it? I said no politics. OMG, I dropped it extremely. Happy Father's Day. Thank you for the great... Okay. Yeah. You get it. Let me log into Streamlabs. And see anything here. Log in with Twitch. Okay, so the last follower was only obvious last stream.
Hey, I remember only obvious.
No donations, no subscribers, no shared access, no AP. Just going through it. Yep. So that was our stream tonight, guys. I said tonight. It wasn't tonight. It was this morning. I liked the stream, but just people didn't watch it.
Yep, that's too bad. We had a lot of neat things to say, so.
The more we flood Twitch with, my phone died. But the more we flood Twitch with content, the more followers we'll get. So, guys, again, thank you for watching.
It's too
And we'll
bad. I was
catch you
just
all.
showing my face. See? Look at me. Look at me. Aw, the phone's dead.
So, we'll catch you all next Friday. Probably.
L8R.
We'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.